Right, we're here with Rich ahead of Saturday's match against Basingstoke. Rich, how's the week been?
Yeah, good week. We've been in twice, so we trained on Monday, trained again last night. So we've had two good sessions, like a bigger one on Monday, working on sort of specific stuff ready for Saturday and bits that probably more based around sort of our perceived weaknesses at the moment, I guess, in terms of improving those, as opposed to anything Basingstoke specific. We've had two really tough games against Basingstoke this year. Obviously, we've come out on the right end of both of those, but I mean, Lloyd Irish was man of the match in the trophy game that we were sort of probably a little bit fortunate to win. And then we obviously beat them in the league encounter by a couple of goals to nil. And I thought we were good on the day and deserving of our 3 points. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game. We've like I said, we've trained hard. We've worked on fitness. We've done specific stuff about how to be better on the ball and how to use it better in sort of forward areas. Again, I won't go into too much detail. Don't want to give too much away, but we've like I said, the patterns of play will help us hopefully. We've got a much more sort of consistent and settled squad. You know, a lot's been made of the numbers that we brought to the team, but probably for the first time, you know, we're really happy with what we got. We've got an 18-man squad, and we're in a good spot with it.
You kind of touched on my next question there, because I was going to say about sort of we beat them 2-0 in October. You kind of mentioned the squad's a bit more settled. Do you feel tactically as well, maybe some improvement since October?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a lot. I mean, we were actually analysing the players that played in that game, and we've got a different goalkeeper. You know, I think on the day we had Jay Malshansky scored. Obviously, Jay's no longer with us. Ace has started. You know, no longer with us. Tom Smith was playing as a nine, and he's now back to his favoured sort of midfield spot. The back four look very, very different. So yeah, just that it's a completely different feel of a team. At that time, I mean, again, probably being really transparent, July through to probably December was about player recruitment. And normally your recruitment's done by August. You might have one or two, but we were constantly evolving because we had to. And for the first time, like I sort of said with your last question, we now can work on specific things with the players because it isn't about bringing the right people in. We've got the right people now. Now it's about developing them, making them better. And you know, people. Owen Brain is a massive example of that. You know, Owen's 20 years old, probably hasn't had the season that Owen would have hoped for. He's shown in glimpses what an unbelievable sort of footballer he is. And we've just not been able to give him the time that he's probably needed in terms of helping him because we've been so focused on sort of other areas and recruitment. And so now we're able to work specifically with people like him and others, Jaden Nielsen, you know, Alfie Maldens and, you know, the younger players, Harris Felton. We've got a lot of 22, 23-year-olds and we're able to work a little bit more specifically with them now and tactically. And I think you'll see vast improvements in those players for the second half of the season.
Is there any sort of team news tomorrow?
Well, we've got a few bits that we're still a little bit unsure on. We've had a few sort of knocks in certain areas, so we've got three doing fitness tests tomorrow. That are big players for us. So we have to hope that two or three of those can come through it because, like I said, they're important players. We've got another one that we're you know, Alfie Malden that's very, very close to returning. We've got to make a decision on, you know, if you've got two or three that do pass the fitness test, you probably don't want to be carrying three or four in the squad that have got niggles. So that will probably have a factor in it. And also looking after him, you know, he's a massive player for us. And whilst this is a huge game, we've got another, I think, 16 huge games after this in a short period of time. So we want him all firing, all singing. I've been really happy with Chris Zabrowski's impact in the last couple of games, albeit we haven't had the results, but we should have. You know, we should have taken Western the penalties, and we should have absolutely got a result down at Merthyr as I touched on. So yeah, we got him coming in. Obviously, has added to our forward line, and in the forward areas, we've got a lot of competition for places. Like I've seen, like Latrell's like trained really, really well this week. Like I was a bit disappointed with our subs last week. On reflection, Latrell giving the ball away once, it's resulted in a goal, and perhaps wasn't it certainly wasn't a fault for anything else in terms of our build-up play. So we got, the boys are reacted well. I mean, Owen, Brandon, Latrell, the three that come on, that we hoped for a little bit more last week. They've had all three of those have really had good weeks in training, and sometimes you've got to be honest with players and say how you're feeling about the situation. And like I said, we've got a good group. We're very, very close. They all know that they can talk to me about whatever they need to talk about, and we've had some honest conversations with a few of them, and I think, like I said, we'll be better for it. But team news, well, I've got a tough job, Josh. Like, we've got a squad of 18 players that every single one of them now is ready to play at this level of football and ready to play for a top team, which Taunton absolutely is. And my challenge is to pick the right 11, the right 5 to supplement that, and to go on a little bit of a run. I think we're disappointed with the results over the last 2 games, but there's certainly enough in those games to give us real hope. And we got to try and put a run together and see where that takes us.
Yeah, well, 7th in the league. So that's quite a good position to be in at this stage. Would you agree?
It is, yeah. And I think the league's so tight this year that 7th to, well, the bottom 4 is 7 points, 8 points. So, you're 2 wins away from being, we're as close to the playoffs as we are the bottom 4. And we're top of the big league, I guess, of teams. There's a bit of a mini league in terms of the top 5. Walton keep knocking on the door, but haven't quite got in the playoffs spot for a while. And then we're the best of the rest of them currently. The first challenge for us is to cement 7th. And I don't want anyone to perceive that as a lack of ambition. For us, we want to try and get a little bit of a gap from 7th down. And if we can do that, that means we've had a good run. And once we've done that, we've created a small margin of gap. Obviously, you're on a good run already. Then you see where it can take you. But I think if when we went into the pool game, like the 21st of December, I think it was, we were looking over our shoulder at the bottom 4 and wondering if a bad run of results would take us into a little bit of an uncomfortable position, a sticky situation. I think we've been one of the best teams in the division since the turn of the year. Form dictates that. We now want to finish what we started this year in terms of keep moving forward. And I think that the 7th place is because of our recruitment. And we now need to be better in terms of the tactical side, in terms of the patterns, in terms of the relationships, in terms of the fluidity of how we play. And that might take us up the table to 6th or maybe 5th if we can get it absolutely nailed on. But if we don't, Josh, then we want to build on that for next season. And I think, it has been successful. 7th is a successful spot in the league, but we want to be better than that.